Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Corey from Crypt here. So we're just checking out our dashboard here, our coin tracking, and we're gonna see how we're doing after a couple weeks of our trades being online. So we're about 15 days in here, like you can see here, almost just a little over 2 weeks. And I thought I'd give you guys a quick update. As you can see by our little graphical representation here of how our balance has been doing. We started off really strong, going up pretty high on a $450 investment. We were up 60 bucks, pretty much like the next couple days, and then very quickly down to negative $70. That's Canadian. If we want to look at Bitcoin value, Bitcoin had a very similar chart. We were up a 0.003 Bitcoin and or 0.0034, and we went all the way as low as 0.005. So yeah, that just gives you an idea, guys, of how volatile these markets are. In my mind, it's a perfect example of what could happen if you get in at the wrong time. I always use these quotations because there's no wrong time in my opinion. It's just like it's hindsight. Well, I realized that I got in at the wrong time because now the price has gone down. That doesn't mean you got in at the wrong time. That just means you picked a time, and in hindsight, yeah, maybe it was the wrong time, but like that's ridiculous to ever say that you got in at the wrong time. Unless you got out again, if you bought in at the top and sold out down here, then yes, you got in at the wrong time and you probably made some bad decisions, in my opinion. That being said, guys, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I a crypto expert in any way, shape, or form. So this is just me showing you what I've been through. So please just take that with a grain of salt, or know that I'm not a professional. Perfect. So as you can see here, our trades have actually kind of unbalanced themselves. This pie graph here gave us a nice indication before every pie was fairly similar because I had spent around the same amount. But Pivx started to do quite well earlier in the week and ended up getting closer back to its original approximate cost versus the other ones that are still close to almost half. Well, 3 of the other ones that are half the cost almost. So let's just go through a couple of these tabs here. One tab I wanted to show you on coin tracking, which I believe they just added here, is under charts and trends. If you go down to Bitcoin analysis, I find this really interesting. I'm not gonna give any of these charts a whole lot of stock because they're brand new, and I don't know if by stock I mean I'm not gonna believe in them or make all my decisions based on them. So, but they're just interesting little indications. This is supposed to be some sort of Bitcoin forecast. I really doubt that it works that well, but essentially this is supposed to be, I guess, a risk meter. And when it's in the red, it's supposed to be a high risk level that Bitcoin will fluctuate a lot more. Well, here it says probability of a strong price fluctuation in the next 3 hours. So, right now we're at moderate, I guess, or medium risk, according to this little graph. This is kind of neat as well. We have price per weekday, every day where the price was, price per hour, price and volume, Bitcoin price and trade volume. Where's the trade volume? Price, trade volume. It's a bit of a confusing chart, but anyways. Then we got estimated moving average analysis. I mean, you can get a lot of this charting stuff on, some charting software or any other charting that you use. I personally don't use a ton of indicators and different things. I've played around with them plenty, and I mean, it's just not my personal style. I'll probably get a little bit more into them and just play around with them a little more just to really fully understand how they work in the crypto space, because most of my experience with indicators have been in stock markets and option trading, derivatives, that sort of thing. So this is another quick, I mean, you can always get this information off of Google Trends, but I always find it fascinating how, well, I mean, first off, this is here, so it's nice and accessible. but I find it fascinating that we always have Bitcoin interest as far as Google Analytics is concerned, seems to sort of follow price, you know, like when there's a big increase in price, we get a lot of increase in Bitcoin specifically. Funny enough, blockchain, Bitcoin's abbreviation, cryptocurrency, and Ethereum, they take a small bump as well. Not so much blockchain, but everything else takes a small bump as well, but not nearly as much as Bitcoin. So that just proves to me that Bitcoin is still the big cahoot, you know, it's the big mama sort of thing. And people, when they look up what the heck blockchain is, or Bitcoin, or all of these things, they're looking up Bitcoin. They're not looking up blockchain. They're not looking up cryptocurrency, you know, in general. And typically when Bitcoin falls, we seem to lose interest in Bitcoin. So anyways, I just find that interesting. Take that with whatever you like. So we're gonna go, what are we gonna do here? Let's go back to our dashboard. Let's check our daily balance. This will give us a nice indication of where we've gone, you know, since starting this. So, you know, the first few days, according to this, looks like we dropped down actually the first day and the second day. You know, this is how much percent it's changed from the previous day. So the first, from when we first put it in, we lost 40%. I honestly don't think some of these calculations are right. But anyways, it gives you a idea from wherever they decide to pick their price for that day. So yeah, anyways, as you can see, we had, you know, a positive up to $20 here, -5, and then so on. We proceeded to keep dropping down to -70, and then clawing our way back up, dropping a little, and now we're back to -20. So yeah, anyways, I have heard some issues with, and I've kind of noticed them myself. I haven't done that much strict calculation to verify, is this exactly right? Because I do only use this program as a rough idea of how my entire portfolio is going. I don't base any of my trades on the values that I pull out of this. This is just to give me a really big picture. Currently we're using it just on these 5 trades because that's what I'm showing you. But when I do it for my entire portfolio, I just try to get a big idea of my entire portfolio. And I input my trade values set at whatever percentage I want based out of how much I want to get out of my trade in Satoshi value. That's something that's really important, guys. Don't shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak, by trading in and out of Canadian value or USD value. You're causing yourself grief, in my mind. Because if you think about it, your values aren't the same for USD and Bitcoin pairing. So sometimes you're going to be up in USD dollars, a dollar value, but you'll be down in Bitcoin value. And if you take that and you're like, oh, sweet, I'm up whatever amount, and you withdraw that, and you actually ended up with less Bitcoin than you originally started out with. I mean, that sounds pretty simple, but you have less money. You know, like your goal here, at least from my perspective, is to grow your Bitcoin value. If you don't grow your Bitcoin value, you're not really growing your account. You might grow your fiat value a little bit, but you're not actually getting any more Bitcoin. You could have just held on to that Bitcoin that you initially invested instead of trading it into these other altcoins, and you would have done better if you had just held on to it rather than buy Bitcoin, sell your Bitcoin for other coins, then sell those other coins back into Bitcoin at less Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying there? That's the thing you really have to pay attention to, is sell based on Bitcoin. You know, you want your Bitcoin to increase, so you want more Satoshis. So a Satoshi is just a percent, you know, it's 8 decimals of a Bitcoin, so it gives you, breaks down the Bitcoin into 8 decimal places. So 1 Satoshi is 0.008, you know, 7 of those zeros plus 1, that's 1 Satoshi. So yeah, anyways, you want to make sure to trade in and out of Bitcoin. I can't stress that enough. If you trade in and out of fiat, you're just gonna run into trouble. You might as well have just held on to Bitcoin. Why were you trading? Unrealized gains, let's check that one out. So as you can see here, PIVX is the only one that's up from when we first started. We have a current value of almost $100, and we paid $91 for it. All of these others are close to $91, and we're down, significant percentages on some of them. 40% on on 3 of them, essentially. Over 40% on 3 of them we're down. So that's part of crypto in my mind. I mean, there was some bad news that came out of Tron. People are calling it, a pump and dump, which I probably agree with, based on what I've heard. And there's going to be news that comes in and out of the market about any of these coins, or any coin in particular, and you can't get emotional and be like, oh, I'm going to sell on that, because half the time this news is just a rumor. Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's the typical thing that you always hear. So my theory is that I'll buy something before any news event comes out, any real news event, and then I'll sell it on the news, rather than just buying something in the hype of while it's exploding upwards. And I've been burned on a couple of those, and that's how I've learned not to do that. So that's my own way of doing things. If it was me, I most likely would have already gotten out of a few of these positions if I wasn't doing my long-term 6-month hold like I had planned for these 5 coins. I most likely I have to see what percent we were up on, but just looking at the total being up like $50 to $70, provided I was above like 35% on some of these trades, I would have gotten out of at least a portion of my trade already, which would have locked in some of these realized gains before the dip. But I'm doing what I had planned to do, holding it for at least 6 months, and then we'll see how it looks then, and then I'll decide what I'm doing from that stage. So yeah, that's where we're at, guys. Not gonna take too much more of your time. I'll show you right quick here the average trade price, which will give us an indication of how far we are from where we bought it. Again, as similar readings as the unrealized gains here. And then Bitcoin, you can see I paid a little. We're in the green for BNT and PIVX as far as what we paid for it as an average price, which the average price is going to be the one price we paid because we bought all of it all at once. If you had bought multiple prices different times, this average price will give you a good indication of what your average price was that you bought it for. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button if you want some more of this content. I really appreciate all of you who have been subscribing. It means a lot to me. It just shows that you guys are interested in what I'm doing and you want to see more of it. So thank you so much, and you'll see actually later today I'm going to be working on my new mining rig. I finally got the CPU in the mail, and we got the board, and we're just going to start gearing it up and getting it going. Looks like my miner just went down, so I'm going to go fix that there now. We'll catch you later. Have a good one.